Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So this is my take on the December 2024 astrology. Holiday season is upon us. So there's a number of things that are happening here this month. The first one is we kick off right on the 1st of December. We have our new moon. And the thing about this new moon is I left it to this video to do this, but on the Pacific coast, this particular moon was actually on the 30th of November. But everywhere else, pretty much in the world, it would be the next day, which is the 1st of December. And in particular, I wanted to talk about this new moon in relation to a square that's happening. I'll talk about that in a minute. So the new moon has the moon and the sun together, and it is at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, 33 minutes. And it is at 10:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 30th of November. But then all others, including, let's just say, the East Coast, it's on the 1st of December at 1:21 a.m. So this is like your new year, Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarian by sun sign, so this is my new start too. Yeah. And I talked about the square. The square that I'm talking about here is a moon as well as Saturn. So it's a moon-Saturn square. And this actually happens on the 1st of December at 4:48 a.m. And what's interesting about this is that this square sets in to the newness that you want to have happen in your life at the new moon. Hours later, you're having to make some adjustments of some sort, right? That square asks you to adjust. When we look at Saturn, it can put a delay on things. It can put a damper on things. It can sometimes bring difficulties too. And it could bring difficulties if we take it out to the larger world with the people. So it's like the people have to make an adjustment here is what this speaks to, right? But in your own personal life, it could just have difficulties, emotional difficulties, perhaps with women. The moon can represent the female in some ways as well, right? Or at least the mother. So you may literally have maybe an argument or disagreement with your mother. That could just play out just like that, right? But they are both in, the moon is in Sagittarius, and then, of course, Saturn is in Pisces. And the degrees we're talking about are about 13 to 14 degrees for this to have any real effect on you, right? Now, the new moon is going to have Venus trining Uranus. That's very positive. That's like exciting excitement in your love life potential. Maybe for others, some unexpected money coming their way, that type of thing, right? And we do have Mercury is still retrograde at this new moon on the 1st of December. And it is opposing Jupiter, which is also retrograde. So this speaks to maybe things not being so clear, or again, this whole disagreement type thing with the opposition. You can have literally opposing forces here. And Mercury really speaks to things like communications. It can even be our thoughts as well, right? The news. And this could bring news with regards to what? Maybe foreign people, foreign things. Maybe some issues regarding travel for some reason as well. Jupiter can represent that too. Jupiter can also represent the law. And so on this sort of mundane level, it could have, things like legal issues going on in many ways behind the scenes, kind of like negotiations, because both these planets are retrograde at this time, right? And the ruler of this new moon, of course, is Jupiter. So we want to watch where that is. So that may be a theme that comes up at this new moon in Sagittarius. Nicely, we have that Jupiter retrograde sextiling Chiron, which is also really nice too. So this suggests that there may be some healing of some sort going on here. And the healing may actually be going on in a foreign country or with foreign people, right? Jupiter can represent that too. Now, when we move on to the 6th and 7th of December, we have that Mars going retrograde. Now, I've already spoken about this in other videos at length. But here we're talking about this Mars retrograde is at 6 Leo, 9 minutes on the 6th, 7th of December. And this is going to be a long-lasting one. And the thing that stood out for me was, sure, retrograde is starting in Leo, but it's going to be spending most of its time in Cancer, right? And it will go direct in Cancer towards the last days of February, but then it still has to make its way through the shadow period, right? So this, to me, features the homeland, right? It features, when we're talking about Cancer here, the mother, mothering, right? That nurturing, that type of thing as well. Now, I always say, with a Mars retrograde, one of the best ways to utilize the energy, because there's going to be potentially frustrations, delays, can't move forward on things. Have a plan A, B, and C for any projects that you're going. Now, I would say that this Mars retrograde is a great time to plan out some kind of, say, project of some sort. Or maybe you've got to make some decisions or take some actions in your life. Well, this is a great time period to plan all those, not necessarily a time to move forward with them. So you can expect some frustrations here, but you can avoid some of those frustrations by realizing that you're probably going to have some kind of delays or frustrations come up regarding something that you want to take action on. When we go on here to the 15th, 16th of December, well, our Mercury is going to be going direct at that time. And we're also going to have our next lunation, which is a full moon in Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that fact that Mercury goes direct on the same day is important, right? So this means there's a lot of chatter. That's what I got out of this. So there's two signs that are ruled by Mercury, Gemini and Virgo. But Gemini really deals with kind of a lot of information. And so this says to me news. So there's probably going to be a lot of news coming our way regarding this full moon here. It's at 23 degrees of Gemini, 53 minutes at 1:07 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. As I mentioned, it's on the 15th of December. And so almost 12 hours later, 12:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is when that Mercury will go direct. And it will go direct at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. Now that Mercury will be trining Mars at this time, right? See, remember, Mars is still in Leo for the first little while of its start of its retrograde. And so that's very positive. It can have you speaking your mind, right? Maybe successfully drawing up some plans. Maybe you do your Gantt chart or some kind of milestone type thing. You start that process around this time. It would be a great, even though this is a full moon, that this Mercury trine Mars is happening on, it still would be a good time to say, take a look at the big picture, right? Now, on that same day, but a little bit later, just by a few minutes or so at 1:01 p.m., that moon will be at 0 degrees of Cancer, and it will be squaring the north nodes in Aries at that time. So this is another piece of information that goes with this full moon regarding a wrap-up, a big spotlight put on something here. And again, we go back to this whole thing of Cancer. And so I see this as potentially women rising up and maybe even making statements, because of course Mercury is going direct at this time, about their future, right? And it has a lot to do with anything Cancer related. So our homeland, mothering, and nurturing are all up here. And there's a clash that's going on, right? The other nice thing that we have happening, again, we're having Mercury come in here on the stage. Mercury is going to be sextiling Venus. And we're looking here at the influence of Aquarius as a sign. And I really thought this might also be a time when we get an opportunity to talk science. That might be up too. Humanitarian things, opportunities to put some humanitarian type of activity, discussions on the table could be. But we could actually literally just hear something regarding some scientific breakthrough of some sort. On the 21st of December, we have our winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. And this is at 1:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The moon is going to be at 13 degrees of Virgo. The moon will be opposite of Saturn. Yeah, so the moon opposite Saturn really speaks to, and I'm going to take this out to the mundane level, clashes with authorities. It's authorities trying to squash the people. We have Jupiter squaring Saturn at this time, and we have Venus still sextiling Chiron. So that whole Jupiter square Saturn, now Jupiter many times just gives positive energy, but I really see this kind of dovetails into this whole other transit of the moon opposite to Saturn. So I think there's going to be some rising up here of some sort. Now with the Jupiter, this could represent foreign people, foreign things, right? And so there may be some difficulties that go on with authorities in foreign lands, with foreign people, that could be. And it can also be the law. So there may be some pushback with regards to the law here. Some laws are being put down that don't sit well with everybody. Yeah. And of course, we have Christmas around this time as well for many people. So then the 25th of December, we still have that Jupiter square to Saturn. And the degree point is around 14 degrees of Gemini and Pisces, respectively, right? So there may be some difficulties going on here around Christmas time in foreign lands. There may also be difficulties with some travel of some sort for some reason, right? This could tie in things that are like Pisces, which is the water, right? Maybe an excessive water of some sort. So when we go now into the 28th of December, we have Mercury, which is going direct, will be squaring Saturn as well. So we can see that Saturn kind of plays into this whole month. And so it really says to me, there's a lot of emphasis being put on the rules, the regulations, authority figures, that type of thing too, right? And so this is, news that we don't want to hear or news that we don't agree with this square, right? And we end this month of December with a second new moon in Capricorn. So Capricorn, you've been having some story go on this year, right? So you had your first new moon on the 11th of January. You had a full moon on the 22nd of June this year. And now you're doing another new start with another new moon. Typically, you only get one new moon per sign in the year. So listen up, Capricorn. There's some story going on here. Go back to January and June and ask yourself what was activated around that time, what things came in for you, what people came in for you. Because there's a whole new start here. And this is like right around New Year's, right? And so there may be, for some Capricorns, some real celebration going on here around that New Year's time period. So for it to have any effect, we're looking here at 9 Capricorn, 44 minutes, right? It's on the 30th of December at 2:26 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pluto is going to be sextiling the North Nodes, and the North Nodes are making its way out of Aries to go into Pisces, right? Remember that North Nodes go backwards mid-January. So to me, this is also an indication of opportunities for new start in our collective destiny here. Venus will be squaring Uranus, and Pluto, notably, will be opposing a Mars retrograde. Yeah, so this is also, I would say, an important thing to pay attention to. So this is transformation, right? Difficulties with transforming and taking action. So with that Mars retrograde, it's like being held back here. So that transformation, for some reason, is being held back. The ruler of this moon, of course, is Saturn. And when we look at Saturn, Saturn is direct at this time at 14 degrees of Pisces. And it's got a wide square with Mercury at 18 Sagittarius, but it is fairly wide. But I did want to take a look at that ruler. So this also indicates, difficulties with accepting, information that's coming from authorities. Yeah, but that Pluto opposing Mars. Now this also can indicate the more negative sides of Pluto coupled with a retrograde Mars. This is, planning behind the scenes, maybe even nefarious type activities behind the scenes with that setup of Pluto opposing Mars. But maybe for us individually, the transformation that we want to take or make before the new year starts is somehow hampered in some way, right? I say just have a lot of patience around this new moon towards the 30th of December. And certainly if you are going out to parties or whatever, take your time to, check all your details out. Don't speed. That's probably one. Don't do anything against the law, that sort of thing, or authorities, right? But I wish everybody the best over this holiday season. Enjoy yourself. Try to take it easy as best you can. And hey, let's look forward to those new starts, right? At that new moon towards the end of this year. Now, when we look at January 2025, can you believe it? Yeah. We have a full moon at 23 of Cancer. We're going to have a new moon at 9 of Pisces. Uranus will go direct, which will be good news. That's kind of push things forward in a positive way. Mars is still going to be retrograde, but it will be now in Cancer, right? And then, of course, the Sun will conjunct Pluto in January too, right? So that'll be an Aquarius thing. So that to me says, this can be somebody important in the world bringing transformation our way when we have the Sun conjunct Pluto, right? And especially in Aquarius. Exciting new things potentially happening starting in January. But I will cover all that later for you. All right, everybody, I'm going to move on now to do the individual sun signs and or ascendants, whichever one resonates with you. I suggest that you probably watch, or for my Spotify listeners, listen to start with your ascendant. That'll give you the areas of life that all these different moons that I spoke about this month of December are landing. And then look at your sun sign, listen to your sun sign, watch your sun sign to just get a little bit more information, because your sun is the most important thing in your chart. So Aquarius, that new moon in Sagittarius sextiles your sign, right? And it involves the 11th house. So this may be opportunities for you to what? To make new friendships with foreign people, to connect in with foreign places and foreign people. This is a positive thing. Sextiles are opportunities, whether you want to take them or not. The 11th house also can represent our hopes, dreams, and wishes. And for those folks that have their own business, this actually is where you make your money in your own business. So there's going to be some Aquarians that get an opportunity here to make some money, perhaps by expanding their business out to a foreign land or working with foreign people. It can also indicate pleasant things like organizing some travel with your friends, right? Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun too. The other thing is that Sagittarius can also represent legal issues. So there may be some positive new opportunity in some legal issue of some sort here. When we move on to that full moon in Gemini, well, we're looking there at, so that full moon in Gemini is in your 5th house. So the 5th house is a wonderful house. It's a house of creativity, children, new love, true love, any kind of creative project, and having fun. So that full moon could bring in lots of opportunities in all those areas, right? And when we're looking at Gemini, we're talking about lots of communications. So it could be that there's going to be some Aquarians that'll be, socializing a lot and communicating a lot, right? The 5th house could bring in maybe some ending with regards to a new love or true love. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end the relationship, although some may. It could just be that you talk it out with your partner, right? That's very Gemini, and decide that you want to take your relationship to a new level. That could be up here for some Aquarians too. But for others, you may just be wrapping up some kind of maybe writing project, right? Because Gemini can represent any kind of communications, including writing. For others, it might be also you sign off on a contract that you've been maybe negotiating for a while. And that's part of this full moon that you see, okay, finally, we've reached a conclusion here. And I say that because, of course, Mercury will be going direct that same day, right? The ruler of Gemini. Really positive for tying up, it's just like tying up that bow in the present and saying, okay, it's all done now. When we look at that new moon in Capricorn, well, that new moon is actually in your 12th house. So this speaks to some new start with regards to things behind the scene. So this can cover any kind of institutions like hospitals, government offices, even ashrams. And in fact, for those Aquarians that have maybe been really working hard all year, this could be a new moon, a new start where you say, I'm going to take care of myself. And you decide to go to something similar to an ashram, maybe even a spa type thing towards the end of the year that you celebrate that way. And your new start is all about taking care of yourself, right? The 12th house also is a house where you rest. So that's the other thing. Some Aquarians may be saying, all I need to do here is to take more rest and not work so hard. I mean, Saturn rules Capricorn and it likes to exert authority and it likes you to work hard. And so that may be up for some Aquarians where you really do have to stop and look, am I working too hard here? Do I need to nurture myself a bit? For others, it could be a new start with regards to looking underneath that carpet of your life and saying, what do I need to clear up here? Like this is the Marie Kondo house, the 12th house. It may literally too be that you decide to clean everything up in your home and to put things in their proper places, that type of thing, right? Take care of yourself, Aquarius. All right, everybody, I'm wishing everyone a very happy holiday season, whatever it is that you do or celebrate. Please enjoy yourself and look forward to next year. I'm optimistic as per usual with my Sagittarian sun. I'm sending everybody a lot of love and I'm thinking season's greetings is what I want to say, but take it easy over this month of December. We've got a lot happening. There's a lot of toing and froing. Enjoy yourself and have a lot of patience. But make sure to enjoy yourself and spread the love is what I've got to say. Bye for now, everybody, and Happy New Year. So I just want to give a shout out to some of my clients as well as viewers that are local to me in San Diego that came to support me when I gave my lecture in September at the San Diego Astrological Society. I just want to thank you so much for coming down. You'll see their pictures here, but I just wanted to give them a nice shout out, and happy holidays to all of you. I am going to be giving another lecture September 2025. I'll give you all the details well in advance. So plan to come and see me again. Happy holidays to all of you, and thanks again.